Hello, hello, hello. How's it going, folks? Hey, it's FPV Chat. on Thursday. What's up? How's everyone doing? Lots of folks around here showing up for the stream. Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper was here early again. How's it going, man? Good to see you. I am doing well. JRFPV is in the chat. How's it going? Esponder, Bobby the Shank, Callie, Captain Zinep, Cool Cat, Dave Pencilglin, Stephen Pratt, Syndicate, Cincinnati, that's what I meant to say. Welcome for the first time. MP's here. How's it going, MP? Good to see you. Cat FPV, not to be confused with Cool Cat. Bertel is here. Pacific Northwest Pilots IDV CH3 FPV. Colin Pinard. Yeah, how's it going, folks? Yeah, I saw the Emacs TinyHawk reviews popping up. Appreciate it. The intro music is in the description. If you ever want to find it, that's a free track. September Rain, YME Fresh. It's a no copyright track. I just have to put the info in the description, so you can hop down there. That one stood out to me when I was looking around. I went through a lot of copyright-free music, and seemed decent. Let's see. Yeah, I guess big bunch of people talking about that TinyHawk video. What else is going on lately? What else you guys want to talk about? This is a Q&A, so if you're interested, you can ask Qs, and I'll A them if I can A them. And if I can't, maybe somebody in chat can, or you can reach out to me later, and we'll try to find an answer for you. But I should be able to A a lot of stuff. Not sure what you mean by that, Callie. Yeah, MP, I used to do early morning shifts. Those are pretty rough. I definitely would come home and nap and then wake up and sleep and all that kind of stuff. I didn't say it was impossible. I said it's too heavy. And as you said, it's chunky. It is too heavy. I have at no point said it's impossible. It's just heavy. There are hundreds of people flying DJI Whoops indoor, and I think they're all flying something that I would not fly. Just buy a fucking analog adapter and fly an indoor Whoop. That's my opinion. You could fly whatever you like to fly, but that's what my opinion is. That's all it is. Like, everybody always gets upset about that. I get shit about it all the time in the Discord, and people always at me and go, "Oh, that's fine. I fly it. I fly it. I fly it. I fly it. I fly it." I don't give a shit. I'm just saying it's heavy. That's all that I'm saying. It's heavy. I don't fly fucking a heavy quad indoors. Like, why? Why would you do that? That's my question. And you're welcome to do whatever you'd like to do, but that's my opinion. Stephen Pratt, yes, I am working on getting my dog feeder set up to donations, but yeah, the main thing now is I'm just trying to design the best feeder scenario for that. So we will see. Patty, I think he was joking about that. But I mine Ethereum because why not on my graphics card? It's free money. That's all that I do. I just mine Ethereum because it's free. I don't pay power here, so. MP, I am not downloading Call of Duty Vanguard. I don't care enough to download it for a free weekend. Call of Duty is like so boring to me. I'm done with it. especially because like nobody's talking about it, and Halo's out for free now. So I'm gonna play something that's either Battlefield or Halo. Currently in the shooter genre. Why all the shooters got to come out at the same time? Bring one out 3 months ago. I'd play the shit out of it for the last 3 months. I know. Let's see. It just depends, Impy, but I do a lot of napping. So it kind of, whenever, I just go to sleep and wake up when I feel like waking up. But it totally depends. I don't think Flow State has any of my memes shown in the movie because I mean, maybe it does, but that movie was made before I got in the hobby, I think. Or at least like, I mean, I've been in the hobby 2 years, but from what I know, most of that stuff is was done before or around when I got in the hobby. But no, I have not seen it yet. Let's see. CMYK, how's it going? Good to see you here. Athix. Let's see. Apache Smoke. What's a nice indoor whoop? It totally depends on what you're going for. But I fly 65 millimeter whoops, so the new B-Brain, the new Mobula 6, or the newest Mobula 6, the Mob Light 6, if you're okay with a little bit of crash damage, possibly. So you could go up to 75 millimeter if you wanted to. Beta FPV 75 is fine. Anything around that area, but I prefer 65 millimeter whoops because I like to race them, and I feel like that's about all you can do in the house, or at least most houses, like my house. So I like to do that. Yeah, around my house with a 65 millimeter. I feel like that gets me a lot of stick time, helps me practice a lot. Acropy has nothing to do with your FrSky compatibility. It's FrSky, so fuck FrSky. You can get the FrSky comment bullshit out of here. FrSky has nothing to do with your fucking compatibility. I mean, Acropy has nothing to do with your compatibility. FrSky has shit to do with your compatibility. Just because Betaflight fixed it in a future update and you can't update on the Acropy doesn't mean that it's fucking Acropy's problem. I mean, like, that's a problem too. That's not the same problem as FrSky's garbage. So, I think the way to think about it is your shit would work if FrSky wasn't garbage. I mean, it's true. So, Jeff, there's no way to know that. That's part of the problem. How do we know if they're flying illegally or not? Do you actually know if there's a spotter or not? Yes or no? If you can't tell, then you don't know. So maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Bardwell uses a spotter, you know. He doesn't fly his 107 flights without a spotter. Or he flies them indoors. So it totally depends on who you are and how you're doing it. And unfortunately, fortunately, because of the way video works, the way recording works, the way representation of stuff works, the way reporting works, and all that stuff, there's no way to know or not, and it doesn't necessarily matter. If you're satisfying the FAA's requirements, then you're satisfying the FAA's requirements. Uh, your 107 videos aren't dated unless you file a flight plan for one reason or another because you needed airspace clearance. But I mean, you know, it's totally dependent on how you look at it. I think a lot of people do use spotters though because they're worried about that. They just fly with another person. And there's also a question of like obstruction around buildings, how long you could lose line of sight. Do you actually have to hold visual the whole time? Can you do predicted flight patterns like you can on other craft? There's a lot of gray area there, and a lot of it has not been fought out in court. And a lot of it will not be fought out in court because the FAA isn't interested in suing a single person or trying to find a single person who like flew behind a building for a second. The people who are going to get in trouble and the people who are going to have issues are The standout people like Philly Drone Life's garbage fucking ass. Who I think is still doing the same shit. But Bobby the Shank, throttle control seems to be just practice for me. Has always just been the more I fly, the better I get at practice. So I get with practice. Henry is not a fan of indoor flying. He just hides. Hides, hides, hides. Hey Mo, how's it going? No, because it's not like an actual beaker. I don't know, but no. I would definitely not recommend using a throttle limit or expo. Just practice throttle control. Don't use an output. Don't use a limit. There's no fucking reason. Like my opinion is, there's no reason to do any of that. However, if I mean, I don't know. It totally depends on how you look at it, right? I fly 4S batteries on 6S motors with low pitch props because I like throttle resolution. So if you want to cap and have more throttle resolution, you can totally do that. Um, but I don't know. I like to build that way. I definitely prefer to build that way. But the thing you should not do, I personally think, is put any kind of expo or any kind of throttle limit that doesn't match motor output limit. I think like, yeah, you should just learn to fly with that. Like if you buy a whoop, because part of the problem is when you add an expo, right? Um, if you're tilting the quad, that means your thrust is now going this way, right? Not this way. So that means it takes less thrust. So when you tilt like this, now the expo, the curve, right, is not keeping you up anymore. Or the same, the other way around, right? So like to me, that's why I don't think throttle expo is a good thing. Because you're going to be tilted one way or the other while you're flying, and that means the expo is in the wrong spot for that flying. Hey Brandon, how's it going? Dave, I have no idea. I think there's some kind of bullshit about visible distance you can see with the naked eye without visual aid or something. There's some kind of guideline for that. But I don't know offhand what it is. I typically just slot my tiny whip motors. Leadslinger, how's it going? Good to see you. JRFPV. The only Lua script I use is the Lua script um, for my, my thing. So like Crossfire, I'll use Agent Light, or Express LRS, I'll use Express LRS Lua, that sort of stuff. So just whatever Lua for whatever radio link you have. But other than that, nothing. So on Crossfire, you would want to use Agent Light. Mo mentions about throttle stick tension. That's not a bad idea. If you do have a radio and nobody has talked to you about it, or you haven't seen anything about it, make sure that you don't have the notchy throttle. So some people still have that little notch in there, or you can feel the bumps. You definitely don't want that. And then also, if you unscrew a little bit, the tension, you can get it I like to get it to where it barely won't fall on its own. You can push it and it'll hold there. But if you if you have it any looser, then it'll fall. I'm like a big fan of that. Just like slight amount of throttle there. But it totally depends on how you like to fly. I like to have that exactly where I can like just, get it to where I need it. But if you haven't adjusted that, maybe you should try seeing what you think feels better. Brandon, yeah, a cinematic drone I think makes sense for Expo. If you're only doing a certain tilt shot or if you're only doing a certain speed shot, I definitely could understand using it on like a cinema or like a big cinematic drone. But other than that, I think if you're varying that speed, it could definitely be a problem. Yeah, MP, I've never greased my throttle, but I'm sure greasing throttle helps. But my throttle's pretty smooth, so if you've got a weird sticky throttle, uh, then maybe you want to grease that thing up. I do not have a preferred motor for tiny whoops. I don't fly enough tiny whoops. I think people like get this magic idea. I fly all these tiny whoops. I don't fly tiny whoops very much at all. So like I don't fly a lot at all. So sorry to break anybody's view of me, but I sim a lot and I build quads a lot and fix shit a lot and troubleshoot all day and keep up on the news and know how all the software and firmware works and stuff. But I do not fly a lot. So I have like 3 or 4 sets of tiny whip motors probably, and they're all just like whatever. I've got like older Happy Model SC motors, and I've got some newbie drone motors, and I don't really necessarily have an opinion on any of them. Captain Synap, I would not. I mean, you could copy a tune, sure, but it's going to be about how you built it and then how the quad is that you got. Hopefully, anybody who puts like an actual pasted tune has tested it. But I mean, I would not just slap a tune with a low filtering on there. I would look at what you're getting. So what's the tune that it's coming with? Is it high or low filtering? Like how far is it set and stuff? All that kind of stuff. I have no idea if they gave your tune away. You'd have to look and see if they have tunes for that, like a diff you can download. But you'd have to totally check and see if they have a diff you can download on their website, or you'd have to get somebody else who has the tune on that quad to do it. I would probably just put a standard whoop tune on that quad from a UAV Tech preset, and then go from there. But my personal opinion is on any of these Cinewhoops, just fucking run normal filtering, like run 1.0, and don't worry about it unless you have some problem. Because you're just gonna end up smoking some shit. Like every Cinewhoop I've ever touched has been so noisy. And then if the gyro's got any noise too, it's just run it at one filters unless you have a problem. That's my opinion. But that's what I do on my Cinewhoops, and they run great. Well, my Cinewhoop, but it runs great. I heard olive oil goes away pretty quick. So that would be my concern with olive oil. Niogel, that's interesting. Alberex, have you updated to 6.10 on Agent M? If you have not, do that. If you have done that, then go watch a video about calibration and keep trying. Because the Tango and Mambo calibrations are horribly annoying. I believe it's because of the way that the sticks they use. But it is better on 6.10 if you're not using that. Make sure you do that on Agent M. And then, yeah, if you still have problems, you need to watch somebody calibrate. I think Bardwell did a video about it. But it's very, very, very finicky. I think it's a little less finicky on 6.10. That's the reason they say to update. I don't have either of those radios. I've just heard over and over again how annoying they are to calibrate. A TPFE dry lube, I've heard those are pretty good. Something like that. Prone to coming in. Please don't use olive oil on your gimbals. Yeah, I probably lean away from that, but Albrecht says Mintex brake caliper grease. Lots of people got all kinds of different choices for gimbal grease. Somebody should just sell gimbal grease. Just call it gimbal grease. That's got to be a thing, right? Hardwell's gimbal grease. He could sell that. White lithium grease. That's one you're supposed to use too, right? Or is that for other stuff? Mo, it'll be based on donations. Anima, how's it going? Good to see you. MP's not a weirdo. MP also said, can't smell the rancid olive oil when the radio's sealed, lol. I'm not sure if it's out, but I know the TinyHawk 3 videos all just published, so I'd presume it's either on sale or about to be. Nice. I wish I could afford $100 gimbals, because I might try those new Radio Master gimbals. Ram Donko's here. How's it going, Ram? Good to see you. Rip One Outdoors made it. Good to see you. Thanks for making it. Welcome. It's not so exciting, but hey, you're here. So 661 FPV's here. How's it going? Flow Oxygene's here. Which 2 nanometer is that? I know they've changed the way they measure nanometers like a million times, so I don't know a million, but a bunch of times. Every time I check it, I feel like they're doing some different, like, in between the whatever thing as 2 nanometer or 7 nanometer or whatever. And doesn't AMD and Intel measure them differently now? Or like they keep moving the way they measure them? Yeah, Mo, the bowling alley video was definitely a great video. No doubt about that. Thomas Petch, I have no idea. On carbon fiber whoop frames. I would not know where to start there. Fluoxetine, no, definitely not. I mean, Henry just hides a little bit. He like lays down, low so the whoop won't get him. But it definitely doesn't generate like a dog whistle or anything. Oh, Rip One, great to hear. I'm glad Velocidrone worked out well. S-binder, no. I don't think so. I guess they're either close or Crossfire is better. But I would guess Crossfire is better with a mini mortal. Those antennas are not that bad. And Crossfire is 900 and it's a lower packet rate. I mean, if you went on ELRS down to a way lower packet rate, I mean, you're still not going to get 2 watts out of an Express LRS, but it depends on what Crossfire you're using, I guess. But no, I would think it would beat it. That would be my guess. Also depends on where you mount the ceramic. I would guess too. Isaac Mitchell's here. How's it going? Blythen's here. How's it going, Blythen? Good to see you. Always has been. Good to see you. You guys want to see my current rat's nest? This is the servo project so far for the dog feeder. But basically, the big things are Arduino Uno, and then button and servo. Button's just for testing. Not servo. Stepper. Button's just for testing. Just proof of concept. It'll be fired by like a program later. But yeah, I don't know if you could see that. Can you see that? It's spinning. Yeah, you can see it spin. So it's blurry, but you can see it spin. Anyway, progress. I don't know anything about an ESP. I assume the Arduino has a Wi-Fi on it. I don't even know. But if not, we'll figure out a solution. But I'm not a coder, so just making do with what I can do. We will figure it out. I'll just use another board if I have to. Alberex, I don't know. On 4.3, there might be something about RC smoothing that you need to change based on your packet rate. If you're using an SPI receiver on Express LRS, you have to change packet rate in CLI, but otherwise, no. Yeah, that's just a board I had laying around from a kit. So, um, I don't know. You guys can't just tell me a processor. What? Those are processors. So, what do I do? Buy a processor and do what with it? Like, this is a board that you plug in a USB and you flash it to, and it's done. So I don't know what I would do with an ESP8266 processor. Is there like a project board? Is there like an Arduino style board I could buy? Like I know, but there's like 18 million fucking boards with an ESP on them. Like what ESP? Which one? That's what I'm saying. Like what's the brand or what's the thing or who do I buy it from or what's the build or like all those kind of like what do I call or what's the search results or what do I type or guys are just type ESP into Google and go. It's like okay, man, there's a fucking million fucking things to find. There's tons of options for ESP32 on Amazon. Like what am I looking for? I mean, there's literally hundreds of ESP32s on Amazon. So how would I know what to buy? Like that's what I'm saying. You guys can't just say ESP32. Buy one and figure it out. Okay, cool, but like Arduino, I can go fucking Google a code and type it in and paste it. So I just want to know like what like what am I looking for here? What is different? Why do I need to buy any of these? Why are they different prices? You know what I mean? All the same. So why are they different prices? Like that's not true. Like I understand what you're saying, but like okay, we're not getting anywhere. So I could buy any of these boards, and I'm not going to find out when I buy them that, oh, sorry, this one actually doesn't support this thing. Or, oh, actually, this processor doesn't run as fast as I need it. Or, oh, actually, there's missing RAM here. Or, oh, actually, this doesn't compile like you expect it to. Or, oh, actually, this thing has a weird quirk, so this pin doesn't work for this. And it actually doesn't give you 5 volt. And actually, it only has like, because there's 18 million exceptions with every other thing you buy. So there's not going to be any of that. There's no reason any of these other pieces exist. I'm just saying, like, you guys are acting like anything here I buy, everything will work great, no problem. But like, that's probably glossing over 18 other fucking pieces of the puzzle. So, oh, actually, you bought one from 7 years ago, like Jeff mentions, and it actually doesn't support this, or like, I don't know. I'm just saying, man. Like, this is what everybody says, but then you get shit and you go try to go help on a forum somewhere, and they're like, "Why'd you buy that? Who fucking told you to buy that?" Well, this is Amazon's choice. So, all right. Well, I will probably order one of those. We'll see. Hopefully, any of those will actually work. And if not, you'll hear me complain about it on the stream. What else is going on? You guys got any questions? Anything? RC Ritter, how's it going? Good to see you. Okay, what you guys don't understand is like you're all pretending like I don't know shit. But like it's so annoying like when a whole chat does shit like this because it's like I've spent hours and hours and hours watching people with ESP32s and do setup boards and LoRaWAN and like all this shit. Like I'm aware of what ESP32 is and what an ESP82 whatever 366 is, the things that we have on the fucking the Express LRS. Like I know there's a difference. I understand what they are. I know there are project boards. But what I'm asking is all the other fucking pieces that nobody says. That's why I'm asking all this stuff. Like I know about the project boards, but the reason I haven't ordered some of this stuff is because there's no way to know unless you ask people, hey, are there this thing that works or that thing that works or the other thing that works and how does this work and how does that work? You could say watch videos about ESP32, but then there's 18 fucking million different project boards, so it's not clear when you watch it. It's like that kind of shit is just condescending to me. It's like it's not as easy as you pretend it is. It will not be a lot more clear because it wasn't clear from the hours and hours of video I've watched about ESP32. It's like fucking so frustrating. I understand you're trying to help, but it's also not true. So like, you know, goddamn. I mean, I've never used one before, MP, so I don't know that I will ever use it, but maybe. I mean, this is the first project I've ever tried like this, so maybe. I have no opinion about that Pacific Northwest. IDV, I'm making a feeder for the dog, for Henry, that works off of donations, probably, if I can get it working. CMYK, the only Cinewhip I have is a slam squirt. So, run lower filtering than, or run higher filtering than people say. Like, so lower on the sliders. That would be my opinion. I think the Orca transmitter for the price is really good. But otherwise, it's pretty plain. That's for sure. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate that. Hey, Sensei, thank you so much. And Mo, thank you so much. Mo privately sent me a donation. I really appreciate that. And Sensei, again, thank you so much. Yeah, Henry might turn into a DJI whoop, so we might have to look at the pricing or how big the treats are and stuff. I don't really know, but Aqualine FPV. Is there a reason to have an F7 over an F4 if you don't need the UARTs? Well, previously I would have told you no, but it depends on if you think noticeable PID error on a log is worth switching. That's what I would tell you, because there is noticeable PID error on a log if you run 8K 8K as opposed to 4K, like D-Shot 600 8K versus D-Shot 300 4K. Mark Spat saw it on two different sets of logs that he did with different variables and stuff, and there's a clear difference in PID error. However, the question is that enough PID error to be noticeable in flight? Or is that just enough PID error to be noticeable on a log? So I don't know. I don't know that I've ever been able to tell a difference flying between 2K, 4K, and 8K, but some people might tell you they do, and the log says there is some difference, so that might be a reason to buy an F7. Otherwise, no. That's what I would say. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of problems with the Orca transmitter, but I get what they're going for. Uh, the cost is really good though. It's like 105 euros, I think, for a Ghost and a decent radio. So that's not too bad. It doesn't run OpenTX. It runs its own thing you have to connect to from your phone. Um, and it only runs Ghost. It can't run anything else. But that's pretty nice. I don't think we've seen the app yet. The problem, RC Ritter, with the recommendation for a newbie is that there's no Binofly whoops yet for Ghost. So I need, that's like, that would be my barrier for recommending it to a new person. As soon as there are Binofly whoops for Ghost, because Ghost is the only option to go on that radio, then I will be like, okay, cool. That's a decent radio for people. But we need Binoflies for Ghost. IDV, I'll probably be on for another hour and 15. 3 p.m. MST, so whatever that is for you. Cool Cat, yes, probably. Yeah, I just know when I started, I really liked being able to fly a whoop that I could break and crash and stuff, you know. Versus a 5 inch is kind of daunting. You know, one of Orca's points is like they're trying to get people away from OpenTX so that it's easier for them to start. But if you then have to move to a 5 inch, that you either have to buy a niche 5 inch or you have to solder on your own RX. It's not really easier as compared to something you can just buy and bind. But that's something they're working on. They're trying to. I know that they are eventually going to have a whole line. I don't know if it'll be Betaflight or not. My hope would be it's at least somewhat compatible with everything else. Um, but I guess we'll see what they do. But I know they have some plan in the future for having a whole pathway there, and likely some kind of kit that you can buy with Orca goggles, I would assume. But I know, the goal of this is so you can have this radio in the Walmart. You go and buy the radio in the Walmart, and then you go from that to buying something from them or somebody else that has Ghost in it that you can fly. Fluoxetine, did they ever set a date for HD? I don't remember seeing a date. I just remember saying, keep waiting because we're working on it. Yeah, hopefully Tony's got some deals with somebody to do SPI whoops. That would be great. But even a whoop with the which is the little one, the Zepto or the Addo, whichever the littlest one is for Ghost. That's fine. I don't know about when a premium Express or STX module will be around. I have no idea if anybody will make one that's that great. Um, and there's no reason to update from a Happy Model TX that I know of, unless you're having problems with it. I think some of those are built pretty well. And on testing that I saw, they did great. So I would probably say they're fine. Maytech did RX is not a TX, CH3 FPV. I have no idea on that. Dave Pencilglen, 2.4 gig ERS iFlight controller. Haven't seen anything else about it. Oh, was that the one with the date? I don't know. One of them had a date. I think that's like the 20th. So I don't remember which one had a date. EDOC, it depends on how they write their SPI, but maybe. They would have to, manufacturers would have to build targets. And the problem with that is, like, I don't know, to do SPI, right now the SPI is baked into Betaflight. So that SPI code is like visible. So I don't know if Tony's okay with the ghost code being visible like that. I think it would have to be like blobbed out somehow or something. I don't know enough about it, but I would guess that if he did it with the current implementation that ExpressLRS does, it would just be visible in the Betaflight code. I could be wrong, but I think that's how it would work. That's why you would want to use an Atto or a Zepto instead and have that separate receiver chip and just go to that receiver chip. I can just tell you that I still think, and I'll say this again for anybody who didn't hear it before, but I think because iFlight is making a radio with ExpressLRS in it, I think that means like I'm 95% sure that that means Radio Master will release a radio with ExpressLRS in it as well. Because I'm like, I would put money on the fact that Radio Master is making the internal module for that iFlight. So I guarantee they are making their own internal modules for their own stuff. Like I say 95 because I don't have like an actual inside source on that, but that would be what I would infer because they've made other stuff for iFlight in the same exact way. That makes total sense. So I would be on the lookout for a Radio Master radio with ExpressLRS in it from my hunches. That's what my hunches are telling me. Dave, I don't know about their business relationship, but what I can tell you is that if you look at the iFlight IF8, that is the Radio Master T8 Pro. It's like this, or the T8. It's the same radio. This is a rebranded radio. So I would expect that. Yeah, I would expect to see that pretty soon. Would you guys rather have it in the gamepad style radio, with if Radio Master did one, or would you rather have it in a like a, like a TX16S with the Radio Master with the ExpressLRS in it? I bet they would do the bigger one, right? I don't know though. I guess if it's like, I guess why not both is also true. But I hope they do the bigger one. Ramdonko, yeah, any of the foreign ones will do Bayang. Any of the multi modules, the 4-in-1 multi modules. Unless there's a new version of Bayang. But yeah, all the oh yeah, if you have whoop boards with Bayang, then yes, the multi modules will do Bayang. Madstex here. How's it going, Madstex? Good to see you. T16 too large for his ladylike hands. That's hilarious. I like the big radios, but I can understand why people would like the small radios. RC Ritter says kind of mixed Tango 2 plus size with big touchscreen uh, button, not big switches. Interesting. Lots of mixes in the chat. I think there's probably more bigger radio people, but a lot of people talk about mini radio people. Like they want like a mid-size radio. So like, are we talking like a T12? Do you guys know? I think the T12 was smaller, right? DJI radio was a pretty decent size, a little bit smaller. The Mambo is perfect. Interesting. Mambo size. Yep. Yeah, those custom gimbals are a little rough. That's one of my other concerns about the Orca radio. Hopefully, they did their custom gimbals well. Well, this chat, I mean, there's not even that many people here, and they are so hardcore split. I guess uh, this is why we have both kinds of radios, or many times kinds of radios. But cool cat. I'd like a T16S the size of a packet of cigarettes. I would then feel like a giant freak monster pilot. Yeah, Pacific Northwest. I remember Bob working on that radio. I think he just said it was a giant hassle. And there were a lot of problems with trying to design a better radio. Later, Mo. Good to see you. What else is going on these days? JB's got a voice pack out. Anybody using the JB voice pack? Denjin, if you probably not. My experience updating from a non-Hall gimbal to a Hall gimbal was that the feeling was not a giant difference in feeling, just that they last longer. That's my understanding. And maybe more precise, but I didn't notice a big difference. So if you're not seeing a big problem or big variance in your gimbals, then maybe probably not. Justin Rice, I have no idea. Probably never. That's my guess. Kim Fuse is here. How's it going? Good to see you. IDV helped make that pack. Yep. Good to see you there. It's like basically done, Pacific Northwest. It's been chopped up and it seems like it's basically ready. I think people are testing it now. Stephen Pratt, if you did self-advertise, we can't see it, so yeah, you might have put a link in it. But the YouTube blocks the links without me even getting a chance to recommend. So all the other spam stuff, it's weird. It will let me approve it. I'll put a link in chat though. Yeah, it won't let you put a link unless you're a mod. I just put it in chat, guys. The link is in chat. Bags is here. How's it going, Bags? Good to see you. Good to see you. I used to use FL Studio, Fruity Loops Studio, to make music. I'm sure people know what that is. At least some of you, because the crowd we got here. And they used to have these pre-made songs, so you could learn how to make songs by like loading up one of the pre-mades. And I think about one of those every time I see Bags, because it was just this song called Big Bag, and it was just like big bag, booga 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 booga, big bag. My memory, at least, that's what I remember. So now that's all I think about, or not all, but comes up almost every time. Conformal coding works well unless you're really trying to drown a quad. But if you're not trying to drown it, then yeah, conformal coding. Like I've conformal coded whoops, but then like they were like a snowball, and then you just bang off all the snow, unplug the battery, and let it dry, and it seems to do well. Uh, I'm a big fan of conformal. Yeah, I think for just snow personally, I would just use conformal. Just make sure you're conformaling properly, and you don't cover your barrow and mess up your ports and stuff. Isaac Mitchell. I only fly Crossfire and no sim. Do I care about Edge versus OpenTX? Unless you have if you have a TX16S, you could get a touchscreen. Well, other than that, I do not think so. I don't think there's a general benefit for you if you don't need the USB latency fix. You're not going to use all the fancy Lua stuff, and you don't need 500 hertz. So. Oh, that's also true, Bags. The QX7 mod also, the 1-bit QX7 mod. Yes. Lead Slinger, yeah. It sounds like you might have mounted the arms wrong. I've had arms before, like, that the arms don't match. I mean, it's very possible you did. You didn't match them wrong, but it's also possible you did. I know I've had ones before where I would like put all the arms in, and then I went to move, and the arms could move, and I was like, shit. And then I took it apart and realized I'd flipped like two of the arms the wrong way or whatever, and put it back together, and it all was even. Typically, though, a left to right wiggle on the arms does not sound like a millimeter is not tiny. Um, I don't know. That to me, it does not sound good. There typically is should be something in there, some kind of bracket or base or like pull thing or whatever to keep them tight. At least on every frame I own, the arms will not move. Let's say that. And I would expect that if the arms can move, that would be bad for the gyro. Justin Rice, I have changed it so many times that I don't really have a PR. Because I have a lot of different like rooms I'll go in and out of and track elements I'll add or remove depending on how I'm feeling. Like if I'm 3D printing, I won't fly through the printer, but if I'm not printing, I'll fly through the printer, you know, stuff like that. So I think I did one video, like, the only recorded thing I have is that video that's on my channel. At least I imagine it's still there. Let's see. That's from a while back, huh? I don't have anything modern enough that I even care to show. But yeah, I typically don't keep it the same enough to have times. No. Fluoxetine, no. Yeah, if you look on my channel just right, you'll see like one or two whoop videos. I do some whooping in that review uh, of the LED gates and stuff, and I have one video that's like just me whooping around the house with some times, but uh, yeah, I don't post too much flight videos, so I don't fly that much, so that's probably why. Oh, look who showed up. There he is. No, probably not, E-Duck. CMYK, that's a big, 3D printing is such a big thing. Recommended prints for FPV. Wall mounts for quads are definitely handy. Also, if you fly DJI, putting those little DJI camera protectors on is really nice. Those TPU camera protectors. Um, I like to have those TPU foot guards on my quad so when you land, you're not scraping the carbon up. Helps for the corners a lot. Um, yeah, stuff like that. Tips and tricks are personally, I found a BL touch was a big deal. A lot of people say it's not a big deal to level the bed. I say yes, it is. So lock that bed in place, get it all leveled up, and then use a BL touch. But to each their own. Hey, Mo donates a $4.99 through Super Chat. Thank you so much. Just kidding, he's back. Here's to the project. Thank you so much, Mo. Bags. This shirt is from the store, so I don't know if they sell them or not. But I got this one directly from the owners. So we'll send FPV. They're a local company in Denver. IDV. I mainly fly Velocidrone whoops because I think it's the best whoop simulation by like a long shot. I'm looking forward to Liftoff's whoop simulation. Hopefully, it's like really badass. Fox15 says, "Do you know any toys such as Wicked Bone controlled via an app? Wicked Bone has poor reviews. I don't even know what that is. Let's see. Oh no, I have no idea. A smart dog bone. No, Henry would just destroy that or be scared of it. There's two options. Pacific Northwest. How did our whoop team do? Sorry, I missed the update. For the last series, I don't know. We got second or third. I really honestly don't remember. Or fourth? I honestly don't remember. I think it was third. We talked about it on the news, and after that, I just kind of, it all goes out the door. Second. Okay. Great. Thanks, EDoc. Litzlinger says, I'll double check that. The edges are beveled. Wondering if they got trimmed too much, but I'm going to play with that now. All right. Well, who else has got questions, comments, concerns? What's going on with you lately? Who's been doing what? How you been feeling? What you been building? Let me know. During that $11 ESP32 module. Real quick before I forget. Saturday. CMYK. I don't. You got to give me more info on that. I charge at 1.3 volts. I assume you mean amps. So what's the battery? Basically, you want to charge at 1C for the most safety, but there's arguments to be said for charging for more C doesn't actually make a difference, and it could make it basically shouldn't make a difference for safety. But I don't know, it could. More amps through something could definitely be worse. So I typically charge at 1C or 2C, which is just one or two times the milliamp hour rating. So if you're at like 1300 milliamp hour battery, you charge that at 1.3 amps for 1C. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. There's quite a few people who charge at 3 to 5C, a lot of people who charge at 2C. I personally still charge everything at 1 or 1.5C at max. But Family Guyver's here. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Espender swapping his toothpick over from Crossfire to Espresso Rust. That's good. Got that ordered. IDV says, I might buy the TinyHawk 2 Freestyle. What do you think about that quad? Seems like a pretty decent little quad. I think there's a lot better options if you don't want to buy something built already. But for something built, that seems like a decent little option. As far as 300 milliamp hour 2S versus the 450s, I bet you're going to get some sag and short flight times on those. I bet you could fly them, but I bet you're only going to get a minute or two. I don't know, you might get a little longer, but uh, you're probably going to substantially reduce the flight time. Yeah, Rip One, the Cadex Vistas are back on shelves. The Nebula Pros are coming back on shelves too. All that kind of stuff. So, good sign. Hopefully, it stays that way. Be at home, no rush. 5 amp in the field. Yep, totally up to you guys how you want to do it. CMYK, I do have PayPal. The easiest way is if you just go to itsblunty.live. You can go to that website right there and donate through PayPal directly to the stream. And then it'll make sure it pops up and stuff. But that tip feature through itsblunty.live directly tips to my PayPal. Or you're welcome to send something directly to itsbluntyfpv@gmail.com. But it's just easier if you go through the tip because then it shows up on the stream for everybody. Oh, again, always up to you. Justin Rice is waiting on parts. Yeah, that's always a hard thing to do for sure. Albrecht, sorry to hear about your SD card. It's always unfortunate that the models get lost, but if you guys have not heard my PSA before, make sure you get your stuff together and replace your SD card in your radio that you bought it with. So whatever SD card came with it, unless it's a brand name, and even if it's a brand name, I would just swap that guy out. Because chances are it's going to fail on you, because most of them do. And a lot of them just write slow and stuff too. Family Guyver says just wish Emacs changes their D8 protocol to something else. An IDV or an EDOC says can't run Redpine on the new Emacs crafts. Yeah, so that's something to know. Their Family Guyver. If those Emacs crafts you're talking about are not the D8 Tiny, but they're actually just SPI, then you should be able to swap that SPI receiver. Yeah, you should be able to swap that SPI receiver right over. So. I think Red Pine started in 4.2, and as long as it's got a normal SPI chip, like the newer Acroby stuff that Newbie Drone did, then it should be good. Like the older Newbie Drone stuff had their own SPI implementation and could not use anything but the typical protocols. But Zension, I will do that. Yep, did not know it was a big deal, so I will definitely do that. I didn't realize it made you log in. That's pretty annoying. But yeah, it's bluntyfpv@gmail.com if you guys would like to donate to me directly on PayPal, and I'll toss that in the description for the future. Dave Pencilglen, help troubleshooting. I'm in ATR mode 2, but the wrong channels are moving in Betaflight. I would just, when that happens to me, the easiest thing for me to do is just go into Betaflight, delete out those channels, and type in whatever order works. I have that happen constantly for me because I'm mode 3. So I just always delete what's there and type in the right thing. It's easier than trying to figure out why the radio is sending the wrong stuff or which thing's mismapped. As long as you're getting the right sticks, it's all gravy. Right, we added the PayPal to the description. Thank you guys so much. Later, Jesselyn Rice. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I don't know about lower capacity SD card availability these days. Unfortunately, I think I use a 32 gig in my radio right now because I don't have anything else. So it's also suggesting just edit it in that receiver tab. Probably the easiest way to handle things. Aber the Hams here. How's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks to Eric Hand for $5 on the PayPal donations. Oh man, back of your face has tipped $20. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate all the help and dialogue on stream and in Discord. Thanks for keeping them in the air. Thank you for your donation, man. That really will really help me out. You guys are being super generous this stream, and I really appreciate it. Mo mentions 32 gig ONN cards from Walmart. I've heard those are good enough. Like those work perfectly fine. And I have used those before to no issues. So, um, yeah, I would definitely not sleep on those. Those are pretty cheap. I think last time I went, there was like a 2-pack for like nothing. Yeah, they've got a U1, like a 32 gig U1 for $6.50 at Walmart right now. It's nothing. If you've got one near you. And it's not an option for everybody, but there's an option for some. You'll definitely have all 11 or 12 channels. I think no matter what, it just sends them all. Uh, so yeah, you just set it to channel 11. It should be there. Or aux 11, which is channel 15, whatever it ends up being. Aux 11 is 15. Yeah, I think it just always sends it. As far as I know, anyway. I don't think I've ever not had it. I have aux 1 through 8. So, like on the receiver tab, you can't see aux 9, 10, 11, 12, is what you're saying? It's not just that the bars aren't moving, but you don't see the extra auxes. Hey, Bag says, what any news on any info on the SharkBite 1 watt VTX? I don't think so, but let me check. I'll give it a check for you. It looks like, unfortunately, there have not been any more updates on that. Just that it went into production. Thanks again, Bags, for that. I remember seeing that, Dave, but I thought that was based on like receiver protocol or something. You're obviously on CRSF in the config tab because that's how you're getting a signal, I would assume. I feel like I remember that, but I don't remember why. Hey, no problem, Bags. Dave Pencil Glenn gives me 420 for the help. Thank you so much, man. That is awesome. Brendan, I've flown it. I think my main quad is on 4, or not my main quad, but my main Betaflight quad is on 4.3. Uh, but I've only flown it a handful of times. So it's probably on a build from like 2 months ago. I was like almost positive that the Betaflight auxes, the aux list that's there is based on the protocol you have selected on the receiver tab, or on the config tab for receiver. I don't know why I thought that, but like, because if you're on like D8, you only see 8 of them. Because there's four, there's 8 channels, 4 auxes and 4 sticks. Yeah, if you're on CRSF, I don't know offhand. I would maybe like dump everything and reflash just in case. Oh, right. That might be an SPI limitation, Dave. Uh, yeah, I would probably check in the Express LRS. But that's real. I didn't know that was a limitation if it is. But I would probably check in the Express LRS Discord and see if that's something that just the SPI AIOs can't do. But boy, if so, that's frustrating. Or it might be that you need a certain configurator version, or there's like a mismatch going on. But I did not know you like couldn't see LQ on the OSD. That's real annoying. I wonder if you can reassign that somehow. Oh man, Rune has tipped $10. I would like to thank you again for the help with my crazy 3-inch. It's always freaked out on takeoff. I love building quads, but still struggle with getting all the Betaflight settings correct. Well, I'm happy I could help you in any way. Um, I hope I can. I hope I have. I hope I continue to. So, Remy Tim's here. How's it going, Remy Tim? S-Bonder bought a Tango 2 Pro, but he's switching from Crossfire to ALRS, so sticking with the Jumper T16. Brendan, you do not want to center with trims on the remote. The first thing you want to do is make sure your radio is calibrated. So make sure you're sending the best data that you can from the radio. If the radio has been calibrated already, then you can adjust your RX range on your CLI if you need to do that, if it's not the radio's problem. Or if it's the radio, you can make adjustments like in the actual menus on the radio to trim up the sticks. But I would not use the trim switches. It will throw off other quads if the radio is putting out the right data and it's the FC or something else that's weird. But I would expect that it's probably the radio that's outputting the bad data. And if it is the radio, then you can adjust it with the radio. However, $14.99 or $14.98 to $1,500 is not a big deal. And I would just probably put a deadband and be call that good. Yep, Mo says that. Just as I said, set a deadband of 5. It's also perfectly a fine way to deal with it. That is not a lot of variance. So, JRFPV. I know a lot of people are going to Edge TX. There's a lot of different benefits for people. So if you have a touchscreen, that's a benefit. If you want to do some of the theming stuff, if you want to get any of the other weird PRs that have been changed for different things, 1-bit mode for QX7 is a big deal for people. USB latency fix is a big deal for some people. Nirvana support is a big deal for Nirvana users. So just a bunch of different things. Brennan, that's in the receiver tab. Betaflight, you'll see a deadband section there, and you could just set that deadband value. You just want to set it to 5. So that means it'll ignore that little movement from like 1497.5. Right? I don't know how it does the rounding actually, but now you should be able to set the set it right in the receiver tab, I do believe. Right. What other questions we got? We got about 25 minutes left in this stream, unless something crazy happens. We'll be ending about 3 p.m. MST. Little hot tip for anybody who's here today. We will be streaming tomorrow unless something drastically changes. Probably around noon MST, 2 p.m. EST on Joshua Bardwell's channel doing another simulator roundup. We are planning to do a bunch of small simulators and knock them out in about 15-20 minutes apiece. We'll probably do an hour and a half to 2 hour stream. We're going to be looking at Acro, Curry Kittens FPV Simulator, Flow State, FPV Air 2, and FPV Drone Simulator. That's the plan anyway. Any of those with multiplayer, you guys will be able to hop in, but I don't really know. Those are all kind of smaller sims, so I'm not sure what'll have multiplayer or the ability to do things like that. But any of them that do, you guys are welcome to try to hop in that lobby. Also, we appreciate you being there to ask questions about the Sims and make sure we know stuff about the Sims in case we don't. Because it's hard to know everything. Family Guyber, you could fly a GoPro 7 on a 4-inch. It would just be heavy. There are people who fly the GoPro 9s and stuff on 3-inch Cinebooks, but it's just not going to perform like an Apex typically would perform on a 4-inch. That's a lot of weight you're at. Probably also shoot high on the motor size. June Loco's here. How's it going, June Loco? Good to see you. Frenzy Incarnate's here. How's it going, Frenzy Incarnate? Good to see you today as well. Lots of folks showing up for the stream. We got 219 playbacks today. That's pretty good for the stream. Lots of people in and out today. No problem with that. Yeah, there seems to be a decent amount of demand to sim with us in those sim events. So it'd be cool maybe to set up one of those days on the Discord or something. Maybe we could work something like that out. I know Discord now you can set events up and stuff, so maybe we could do something like that. Jeff Long is here. How's it going from Utah? Hello from Colorado, where we haven't gotten snow yet this year. Any measurable amount of snow. 0.1 inches is all we need to get for a measurable amount of snow. And unfortunately, I mean, it depends on who you ask. Fortunately or unfortunately, we have still not gotten 0.1 inches of snow this season. The record comes in like 2 days, 3 days. So, pretty crazy. Gene Loco reminds us to hit that like button if you don't mind. It's always helpful. The algorithm definitely appreciates the like button. Frenzy Incarnate, thanks for that. I try to keep up a good mood on stream. Sometimes I get mad, but it's not mad, it's just scoldy mad, typically. It's like mad to explain a point, if that makes sense. And you finally got the DJI FPV goggles and Vista with the Nebula Pro. Awesome. You are living the dream, man. Thanks for those likes, guys. Fatboy had a skiff of snow the other day in Greeley. Yeah, I've seen there's a little bit of snow around. I think the mountains got a little bit of snow too. It's just so weird not to, I mean, it's, it's almost November. Or I'm sorry, it's almost December. Lazy Norris, I saw Bardwell and Rosser's videos, but I did not see Mads Tech's latest short. He was in the chat a little bit earlier. I don't know if he's still hanging out. Frenzy Incarnate. Yeah, it definitely is expensive. It's not cheap. So yeah, you can't double like. You got to be careful. Aztec says his video is 18 only. Parental guidance required. Yeah, well, I will definitely have to check that out after the stream. No doubt. It looks like we've rotated a few people here. I'm just going to repaste. There is a Joshua Bardwell voice pack. Two of the folks in the chat, I don't know if they're both still here, but I believe Sensei is still here. Made for out of the Joshua Bardwell voice clips. So if you guys will download that and check it out, I believe they're finalizing that currently. Let's Slinger, what is the pack or what is the frame? IDV is also here. He helped with the pack. Mads Tech, thank you for the kind words. Thank you so much. I think we need a Mads Tech voice pack too. Maybe we need to do like a voice pack for everybody, and then we can have like a celebrity voice pack. We'll do a little bit from everybody. I do believe this works for any OpenTX sort of radio, so I think it will work for Freedom TX as well. So that should work on your Tango too, Lazy Norris. Mads Tech's doing an ASMR voice pack. Feel like I need to turn on the voice on my radio just so I can hear these voice packs. You could kind of go themed at this point, right? So you could do like you your radio could be like Darth Vader, and then when you boot it up, you could have like whatever music, and then when you fire up your quad, your ESCs could have the Imperial March, and then could have like a I don't know. I have a wing that's like a Empire themed wing, so you could get the whole package going on. Like a Darth helmet style helmet with the goggles in there. Well, look at it. Callie, super chatted 4.99. Thank you so much, Callie. Always appreciated. You've been here quite often. Madstick wants the Deadpool voice pack. Yeah, that'd be a pretty good one. Try to think of what like the Dude would be a good voice pack. Has anybody ever done that before? It's like your quad's armed, man. Oh, cool, Lead Slinger. Yeah, tag me in there, and I'll try to help you out with that. June Loco, $10. Come on, guys, let's go. Thank you so much, June Loco. Much appreciated. You're always here hanging out too. A little lag here. One day it'll show up. Thoughts on a bag says any thoughts on a 3-inch quad with noise at 50 hertz only on the roll axis? Thanks, June Loco's chat. Again, thank you so much, June. Much appreciated. I know it's a mechanical issue, should just change to a stubby ant and it's a little better. JR FPV donated $5. Thank you so much, JR. Got a little dancing lemon people, looks like. IDV, I stream Mondays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. MST, and then I stream the news at 4 p.m. MST over on Bardwell's channel. Bags, I'm trying to think of what else that would be. $50 hertz. Are you flying a, it could be prop wash. I tell you what, have you done the throttle versus response thing? Like, so you know where you can go look at the graph where you see the throttle response graph? Maybe take a look at that graph and see if it's only like at certain points of the throttle or certain moves, possibly, like it's tracking. Maybe start to dig down that direction. Also, maybe like non-fresh props. I don't know. 50 hertz is low, as you know. Like you said, mechanical. It's pretty low. So Lazy Norse. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay voice pack would actually be pretty good. Maybe stressful, but pretty good. Could you imagine like low LQ? Trying to think of what he would say, but like you said, what are you, an idiot sandwich? Probably when you fail safe, right? Oh, come on. Yeah, I've seen lots of talk about the TinyHawk 3. All those videos all got published. Who's excited about the TinyHawk 3? Let's ask that question. How you guys feeling about the TinyHawk 3? Emacs has finally done away with their garbage little radio. Hopefully this one's better. Looks like a decent radio. So that's always positive. Is that what they're charging for just the TinyHawk? It's 200. That's a little rough. I know the bundle is 300 with goggles and a controller. Always stops around 35% throttle. I don't actually know. I don't have a good reason for that offhand, but that is interesting that it just stops itself around 35%. Did you make sure you're doing like a lot of throttle moves and stuff? Maybe make sure you're running low and make sure you're running high. Like get another tuning flight in and make sure you're seeing that same thing on another tuning flight. But if you're seeing it on multiple flights, then yeah, man, I don't know. S Bender, does ELRS have 12 channel always by default? I think now it's 12 channel, yes. I think actually no matter what, it's 12 channel. Because it's 4 sticks plus 8, and just how the 8 are handled, unless you do something special, are going to be different. Patchy Smoke Wounded Sniper, thank you so much. You've been hanging out a lot. Donated $4.99 euro, or sorry, how do you say that? €4 and 99 what? So pence? Was that a pence? Oh, that's probably pound, right? Somebody tell me what the euro cents are called. That's actually a question I've never had. Oh, so it's just €4 and 99 cents? Okay, great. Easy enough. 168 for the TinyHawk 3 by itself. Yeah, that's a little rough, but I feel like the TinyHawk 2 was around 150 for a while there. The bundle on Emacs's website, Coolcat, is 298 currently. Could take a look at that. I do love the look of that radio, though. Hopefully that thing performs as well as it looks. And these are new goggles, too, so I had to watch some of these reviews. They all popped up as I started the stream, but I'll check them out. Okay, wait. So now everybody says cents. So I guess I should ask. So what is a pence? Is that actually what you say, like 4 pounds and 99 pence, or do you still say cents when you say pounds? Let's just get all these questions out of the way, right? Yeah, Kelly, I'm not surprised. It's a proprietary board. It's unfortunate. Non-standard whoop mount. Sounds about right. That was a little screen mounts on a tripod or the remote. That's pretty cute. Pounds and pence. I know it's definitely still a pusher. Definitely still a pusher. Trying to get a good look at the board in there. Make sure it was exactly the same as the old ones, but they got it all covered up. That does look like a smaller board. Are we sure that's not a standard whoop mount? I'm sure somebody watched a review. That's why you said that. Oh boy, that's real lame. It looks so much closer to a normal mount. Also, no manual here. I don't see a link to a manual. They haven't listed a lot of the stuff yet, so I don't see like replacement boards. And they could make it the same target, but just have the layout organized normally instead of in the weird TinyHawk layout. Dave Pencilgwin asking the real questions, then what's a quid? You guys got slang for your money now? Is that like a Benjamin? I said that and I'm like, oh yeah, we have slang for our money too. Quid is a pound like a dollar is a buck. Kelly says someone just replied to a comment I made on Facebook and said it was standard size. Yeah, it looks like smaller than the weird TinyHawk mounting, so that's great. This is probably that board they make then, right? Uh, they've been making that new board. This one. So I bet it's this board. Or at least I hope it is. Senior Drone. Senior Drone. Sorry, I got a TinyHawk 2 that took a dive in my pool and the board got fried. I don't want to buy a new TinyHawk board. What else could I build with those motors and camera? Maybe an ELRS AIO board. Yeah, probably. There's a lot of things you could probably by there. The thing is plugs, so you'd have to get an Emacs board, or you need to get a I guess any board but Newbie Drone I think will fit those plugs. Um, I mean, other than that, I'm not really sure offhand. Probably yeah, probably one of the ELRS AIOs, and then just any 65 or 75. The problem is they're like pusher motors, so you need to build a pusher because there's no screws for props on them. So you basically need to build a TinyHawk or equivalent, or like flip something upside down when you build it. Somebody says VT or Ramdonka says VTX info. It says 200 milliwatt. So, and yes, also Emacs props only fit them, but they also don't screw in. So you gotta run them as a pusher, and you gotta run the Emacs props. I guess I never considered. Do those Emacs props pop off when you acro? Or is just the fact that they're pushing is what makes them like push it up into the. They're just like never going the other way, I guess. That's interesting. I never actually thought about that. Oh yeah, Runcam Nano 4. Hopefully that is not blurry garbage like the Nano 3 has been shipping.
Winning.
Nick, it looks like, oops, sorry about that. It looks like Nick Burns has a video on the Nano 4. It is not a light camera though. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's probably sourcing, right? Presumably, anyway, it's sourcing. Definitely pop off in a crash. When we used to do TinyHawk 2 spec races, we would just like walk around when the lights came back on and just like pick up 50 TinyHawk 2 props all over the ground. All right. Well, we're at 2 minutes. I'm sorry, 2 hours and 4 minutes. So I think we're going to call it there. I appreciate everybody hanging out. So just a reminder of my schedule for the people who are curious. I will be back on my channel Monday at 1 p.m. MST for the same thing we're doing today. Another one of these FPV chats. I'll be live tomorrow with Joshua Bardwell, most likely on his channel around 12 p.m. MST. We'll be doing a simulator roundup. And Tuesday, after Monday stream here again, Tuesday will be the news at 4 p.m. MST. So I hope you guys come back for all those streams. And again, thank you guys so much for hanging out and stuff. A little last minute super chat here from Northern Tier FPV. $10. Finally caught me live. My stream rocks. Thanks for all my contributions. Thank you so much for coming by at Northern Tier. And thank you for your contribution to the stream. And everybody who donated today. This super chat revenue is off the chain today. I'm at $49.86 in just super chats, and then like $30 in PayPal, and $20 on Amazon. Like I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys so much. Again, I'm gonna leave. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Remember, my DMs are always open. I hang out on Discord. I have a Discord in the link down there. You can always get to that. if you need any help with anything. So take it easy, guys, and have a wonderful day.